Are you an entrepreneur, a real risk taker and go-getter? Hey, Tom Pazar from Wisconsin. Like you, I enjoy reading biographies and autobiographies of very successful business people. Part of what I view as my professional development. And recently I came across this book by Richard Branson. You know him as co-founder and founder of Virgin Corporation. Talks about his early years and a lot of the experiences he went through and the business principles that he developed and lived by. So you can see I'm about a quarter of the way through, but already I have come up with a handful of great ideas that I wanted to share with you in this video in hopes that you can gain from them as much as I believe I will. He starts off talking about the balloon, around the world balloon trip that he decided to take in January of 1997. Turned out to be a one-day, one-night affair because they had technical difficulties. Darn near killed him in the process. They had to somewhat crash land. But he says afterward, I knew I would attempt another balloon flight because it's one of the few great challenges left. Think about the challenges, obstacles that you face in your professional or personal lives. Do you try to overcome them? Are there times when maybe you face something, realize, hey, that's pretty difficult, and step aside? No, view that challenge as something to overcome that you can learn from and perhaps profit from in the professional world. You become a stronger person by overcoming obstacles. He doesn't really dither or dallow in the decision-making process. As he writes, in a certain context, I just pick up the phone and get on with it. I'll follow up in a minute here talking about the magazine he founded. But think about that. A lot of times we in the business world get wrapped up in this, what we call paralysis by analysis. We want to analyze something to the nth degree. In the public speaking world, we want to rehearse until we feel we're just as polished as possible. Well, every once in a while, you just have to get out there and speak. If you're good enough, take that, learn from it, make the next presentation even better. In the business world, eventually, just make a decision. Chances are it's the correct one. But either way, it's rarely, if there's a problem, going to be fatal. Just move on. Make a decision and move on. And as a teenager, he co-founded this magazine called Student. Now here's this, literally a teenager, calling these major corporations, trying to line up advertising, even before the first issue was printed. That's pretty gutsy. But it indicates a confidence, a drive and a confidence that he needed, well, he had in him, but he knew he needed as well to be successful. And that isn't necessary in business today. Be confident, be sure of yourself, be able to pick up that phone and make those calls. He writes in another part, never went into business merely to make money. A business has to be involving, has to be fun, and it has to exercise your creative mind. Today, we talk about how you need to put the customer's needs first. It shouldn't be a selfish business approach, particularly in sales. I know it's fun and exciting to think about that commission check, but you want to and need to put the customer's needs first. That's how you can ensure long-term success, thrivability in the business world. Now, Richard goes a little different direction, talking about the need from the personal side. It's not just about going out there and earning a paycheck, but the position of whatever it is you do must be personally enriching. That, along with helping your customers, makes that position successful. And finally, at least for this video, as you can see again, I'm only partway in the book. You need to keep your senses open to opportunities. Be willing to jump at them and, need be, ask questions. The context is he's out one day looking for a houseboat. He's along an area where a bunch of them are lined up in this river. He wasn't quite sure how to approach. Well, it turns out his car breaks down. And as he writes, that's not entirely coincidental because it had a habit of doing that. But it happens to break down right there. He hops out. Turns out there's a gentleman working on his boat. And he asks, "Do you need any help?" How would you respond? Of course, we're thinking about our car, right? Need to get this thing up and running, need to get going. Ah, Richard sees an opportunity. And he asks that gentleman, "Do you know anyone who has a houseboat for sale?" That eventually leads him to a particular direction and the houseboat occupancy. But think about that. You know, setting aside the immediate concern for what is a broader concern and need. Keeping your antennas up for those opportunities and then being willing to ask the right questions. Great stuff in this book. If you happen to come across a copy or at the library or maybe a bookstore, I encourage you to read it. There's really good information in here. I hope this video has helped you, and it's your business, your entrepreneurial spirit will thrive. Tom Fazzar from Wisconsin saying, good luck in your business.